Hello, Arlington. As we've seen through the pandemic, nature is critical to our mental, physical, and social well-being. Natural surface trails, which we're here to talk about today, are the connection for many of us to those natural areas. By natural surface trails, we're talking about unsurfaced trails, generally think nature trails, hiking trails. While they may have bridges, they may have boardwalks or gravel, they're generally unsurfaced natural trails. Some examples in Arlington include the Glen Carlin Park, the Potomac Heritage National Scenic Trail, as well as the Donaldson Run Trail. Today, I'm joined by Ryan Delaney, the project manager for the Natural Surface Trails project, to share a bit about this project. So Ryan, what is trail sustainability and why is it important?
So a sustainable trail is one that can be easily maintained over a long period of time without causing a lot of undue impact to the environment that it traverses. That's the short answer, but it's really hard to encapsulate everything that makes trails sustainable in a single sentence. So there's physical aspects of sustainability. For example, is the trail built or aligned or planned right so that it doesn't erode into your nearby stream or cause trip, slip, fall hazards for your trail users? There's ecological aspects. Is the trail in the right place to not impact locally sensitive plant communities, for example? There's managerial sustainability, which concerns us at the Parks Department greatly, which is the agency managing your trails well-resourced enough in terms of staff and volunteers and stakeholders to keep the trail system moving into the future? And finally, there's social sustainability, which is the aspect of trail sustainability that deals with how people interact with it. Is it taking people where they want to go? Or are you seeing desire lines form as people go off trail? Is it the right level of difficulty or the right user experience for folks? And really importantly, do people feel safe, welcome, and invited into the trail system? So in order for a trail or a trail system, in our case, to be sustainable, all four of these aspects need to be in balance. And the best way to ensure that these things are in balance is to address it as early as possible in the process at the planning and design stage, which is where we are now.
So why are we doing this study?
We're doing this trail study really to make sure that all four of those aspects of trail sustainability that I talked about are in balance for our trail system. Arlington's system of natural surface trails really evolved organically over the decades through some agency action, through volunteer projects, and through use. And until very recently, we didn't have a good picture of the entire trail system as a whole, what it entailed, how many miles of trail we had, and what its condition was. And back in 2019, when we adopted our public spaces master plan, we heard from the community that trails were a really important recreational asset. And the PSMP then directed us to improve our natural surface trail system as best we could to meet that recreational need. And more recently, this year, when we adopted our forestry and natural resources plan, there's a recommendation in that plan to address the sustainability from an ecological and a physical perspective, at least, of our natural surface trail system as a conservation measure and a way to reconnect people with the nature in their backyard.
Thanks, Ryan. So what did we find?
Overall, we found just over 20 miles of natural surface trail in Arlington County, most of those concentrated along either 4 Mile Run or Military Road. And the important bottom line from our trail assessment is that approximately 60% of that trail mileage needs work in order for it to be sustainable and minimize environmental impacts like erosion and negative impacts to user experience and safety like tripping hazards. Most of that sustainability work falls into what we call the physical sustainability bucket. This is going to be things like trails that are too steep and are therefore eroding, deteriorating infrastructure like bridges, benches, or boardwalks, and perennially low areas that are always muddy and cause a user experience headache for folks trying to enjoy themselves in the outdoors. Several of these trails have issues with ecological sustainability, that is, their impacts on the environment. And those are things like excessive trail density from multiple routes that are sort of parallel to each other and spreading out those impacts throughout a park area. That includes things like trails that are aligned through or near wetlands or near sensitive plant or animal communities or water resources like streams that we want to bring people to so they can enjoy, but not through so that they have an unnecessary impact on. Yeah, and the last sort of category of issues are social sustainability issues. For example, where a trail exists but doesn't provide the recreational experience that people want, or a connection to a neighborhood or school or other destination, or even a great view of the Potomac, user-created trails will proliferate. And we're seeing that happen in a few places around the county's trail system. We also want to make sure that there's not a mismatch between our average trail user's ability or comfort level and our trail infrastructure. For example, we want it to be just as inviting to beginning trail runners as experienced ones, and so we have to have a variety of trail difficulty levels. And lastly, but most importantly, we want to make sure that our trails are considered safe and inviting by every member of our community. The trails are one of the primary ways that we can experience all the benefits of nature, and in Arlington we want that to be available to everybody regardless of their background.
Ryan, thank you for that information, and thank you all for taking the time to learn about natural surface trails. The next step in this process is to get your input. Please click below to provide your input through this questionnaire. We're looking to understand how you're using natural trails in Arlington, what kind of experiences you're still looking for, and how we can improve things. From here, we will analyze your input to inform a sustainable trails plan, which we'll be sharing back to you all in 2024. And if you haven't done so yet, please do visit the project page to sign up for email updates and to see the trail assessment and inventory. Thank you again for your time. Take care and be well.